Jacob, home field has so much new stuff, especially for March and March Madness. They came in with new jerseys, like new retro jerseys, which are super, super cool. They always have the best stuff. I bought a home field shirt a couple years ago, and it still looks brand spanking new. And I got more home field stuff on the way. I absolutely cannot get enough of home field apparel.
If you're a NASCAR fan, actually, they have some throwback gear on their site too
Yeah.
right now. So tap in, home field. If you want to support the show, use code SQUARE at checkout. You get 15% off if you're a first-time orderer, or you get 10% off if this is if you're just a home field addict. That's code SQUARE at checkout. There's one company, Andy, that we trust to put our own merch out there into the world and who we firmly believe is coming on top this football season. That's elitesports.com. They support athletes directly. They make custom stuff for us and for them. So how could we not be on board?
We got friends who have bought the crew necks. I always wear my Elite Sports squaring around hat. Got to support the brand. Use code SQUARE at checkout for a 10% discount. Not too shabby. EliteSports.com. They support the athletes and they support us. So go support them.
Thanks for squaring.
What?
Da 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 da. In the era of fake rap battles, Zimmel, there's one avatar that is yet to show his face and choose a side in the Civil War, and that is Macklemore, who I firmly believe I discovered in the 6th grade before Thrift Shop came out. And then once the quinceañeras started rolling around, I was in a limo with a bunch of my closest friends in middle school. Not really friends with those people anymore. But Thrift Shop came out. I already knew all the words. Just saying.
Wow. Shout out to you. Grammy award winning rap artist, Macklemore. Put some respect on the name. Speaking of award winners, do you want to give a shout out to our guy?
Dude, our guy, Big Thadd, won Best of Hayes. I think it's for Financial Advisor of the Year. Oh, look, he just sent us a picture. Yeah. Best Financial Investment Advisor, Thaddeus Watkins from Edward Jones. So this is the Best of Hayes stuff that the San Marcos Daily Record does. And Big Thadd, this is going to be a second podcast on ours. So technically, the biggest award winner, besides Coach Kinney, maybe, that we've had on the show.
Ooh, I'm on the show every week. I'm the best.
But you're the guy that's very anti-awards. You remember that whole aspect of your personality?
Huge anti-award guy. Big anti-award guy. But not for Big Thadd, because we're happy for him to win Best of Hayes.
This week,
but we're talking about if you win awards, I don't care.
Yeah. I was telling somebody, actually, if I want to get out of TV, that's the one thing keeping me in, is that I don't have an Emmy. If I get one, I'm out.
A local Emmy, God,
a local TV Emmy. You still get a big ass statue, baby. I'm gonna edit that shit right in my hand right here. Boom. This week we're talking about the spring game. We're talking about some NIL stuff with Big Thadd. If you want to be on next time's mailbag, I don't know when we're gonna do a mailbag again. I kept this in our bag, literally in our content bag, because I was waiting for a time that we can kind of flesh something out. Perhaps we'll do one in a couple months. I don't know. Maybe. Whatever. But you can follow us at Squarin Pod. Click on that little link. We got a link to our inbox. We got a link to 1-800-HOTLINE SQUARE, where you can leave a voice message for us and we can answer your questions live and on the show. No, not live, but, pre-recorded.
I'll hear it live for the first time.
Or you could just reply to us, for at Squarin Pod. So, yeah, that's all of our stuff is on there on our Twitter, X. We also have a Facebook page that I have yet to do a whole lot with, but hey, it's there,
There you go.
Yeah. So here's the interview with Big Thadd.
Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
Jacob, how's your prostate health?
It's pretty good, dude. Better than some of our friends, which I never thought I would be proud of before, but some of our friends have had issues in the past. So,
Gentlemen, get your prostate checked. You do not want to have that problem.
So, Andy, want to kick off this mailbag by shaming / not shaming the Cuatro Corners cartel, who sort of let us down a little bit with the amount of questions we had. A lot of people saying, "Yo, bro, let me get on the pod," and not a lot, not a lot of questions into the spring game stuff. But hey, maybe they just all of their questions were already answered by the wonderful work that we were already doing. We did get some questions though, and in the words of Big Thadd, we're just gonna make some other shit up too. So, without further ado, everybody, welcome back, Big Thadd, to this mailbag. We're gonna answer some questions about NIL. The spring game stuff, and then probably overreact to baseball losing to Texas, which is a personal hell that I live in. So,
Hate to see it.
yeah, let's get started. Oh, reverse shout out our porn bots though, who always comment on our thing. Link in bio. Don't click on those though, probably, because they will catfish your ass. I think something that some people are still frustrated with is that the spring game is also not going to be broadcasted, just like it was last year. Basically, who is it? Clint and some other guys are going to just talk on the radio about it. I think that's fine. We don't have the cameras for it, so I don't know what people are like. Did we think that we're going to win one bowl game and then all of a sudden we're going to be able to broadcast live the spring game? Like, that's not how that shit works.
We're starting the shout outs to ESPN Plus early. Take those shots now, bro. Start the beef.
It always happens that we have something to broadcast, and I think this week is Louisiana is at home, so that's what they're doing instead of the spring game. So, would you rather watch a ranked softball team or football workout?
Ooh.
I'm just saying, I support women's sports.
Are football fans misogynistic for wanting to watch the spring game on ESPN Plus? Thadd, your thoughts?
You got a lot of hot takes early on in the pod. I mean, that wasn't in the mailbag. Was that a question someone sent in, or is that your question? Like,
that was my question.
Oh, yeah, I'm not answering that one. No, I mean, it's just there's a lot of excitement for football. And so if you're not in town or you can't make it to a practice of the spring game, yeah, you want to see all the new weapons and how we retooled. But, again, softball's on fire right now. You should tune in to watch if you're not watching already. Like, I was watching the last couple of weeks. It's on ESPN Plus. I'm at the house trying to expose my daughter to women's sports. And it's like, you can watch Jessica pitch, and JJ had 3 home runs in 3 days, and they're playing really good softball. And even Coach Kenny on his presser was like, you can see how they play for each other, which is important as a team. Like, you have talent, yeah, but does the talent always show up together as a team? And that's what they got rolling over there.
That team, by the way, is celebrating 40 years too on campus since establishing the softball team. Pretty sick. Coach Woodard's been on for 24 of those 40 years. That's nuts. I was 2 when she took over the team.
Cool. So not a lot of spring games are publicized. Not a lot of them are broadcasted. So for Texas State fans to complain about not having like a video stream or being able to watch, I think is very entitled, which is a weird word to talk about when talks about Texas State. But when you think about it, like I think the first spring game like ever is getting broadcasted on like actual cable TV this year. So it's not like these spring games have been posted a lot of different places. Now, I will say, with the advent of YouTube and Facebook Live, it is a wonder why we're not just throwing up a single camera and like taking the audio feed and just having some sort of product out there. But I don't think anybody should be really upset about this at all, guys.
Would you rather have like one bad camera angle? It's because it's definitely going to be bad. Like either way you shoot it, if it's for Facebook, like there's no way. Because some of these schools that aren't in the Sun Belt, like don't have that ESPN Plus like stuff, like the feed itself, like they have Facebook Live. Like that's how they broadcast games for the CUSA. And not good.
Let me tell you, when I was in North Dakota, there was a junior college that essentially just bought 1990 style TV cameras and like set them up in both end zones. And I thought those were better than some Division I teams who are using like the stadium app. No shots, but like, no beef, but still, I look, should it be on ESPN Plus? I don't think so. I think that we're okay right now. Should it be on like Facebook Live? Should a parent hold up an iPad? Because I know, Thadd, you've seen that before, right? With the parent holds up the iPad, just streams the entire baseball game or whole football game. I mean, yeah, what's stopping you?
I mean, my sister does the Facebook Live stuff so we can watch my niece play volleyball. Yeah. It's like she's cheering and getting excited, so the camera's shaking, and then like I got a nephew who plays junior college basketball too, and their games are broadcasted on YouTube. It's like one angle.
Yep.
And it allows you to watch, but it's like, as a D1 program, like, what do you want to put out there? It's like, I'd rather have no footage than a subpar streaming on a YouTube or a Facebook Live and someone walks by the camera or whatever the setup is. I mean, and also too, I'm more of a competitor. I don't want my stuff out there. Like if I got a new quarterback and we're trying new things out, I don't want you getting a quick glimpse at the adjustments we might have made or what Jordan does now versus previous quarterbacks. Or like your spring practice and spring ball is to first see how hard are the guys competing. And this is your trial by error of what does Jordan like to do as a quarterback? What can the O-line do differently? What can we run defensively differently? What wrinkles have we added? Do I want to put that out there for Sunbelt teams to see, or the first 4 teams we're going to play have a glimpse? I think part of how we beat Baylor was like they had no idea what you're going to run offensively and how it works. And you go out there and hang 42 points on them. Yeah. So maybe I don't give away, I like this set now and Jordan does these things differently than TJ did or whoever in the past. Maybe I don't give those things away.
Pretty bold of you to assume it's going to be Jordan and not PJ Hatter.
I mean, I don't think you bring that guy in to sit.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
That'd be crazy.
Jacob's a big Hatter guy. That's all I'm saying. He always roots for the backup quarterback for whatever reason. Tries to cause
Preston Hatter
quarterback
Senior.
Controversies.
Met Preston Hatter 2 weeks ago. Preston Hatter Senior. That was fun.
Yeah. Did he tell you his kid was going to start?
No, he did not tell me his kid was going to start. He actually told me his kid, PJ, took everything with the Jordan McLeod situation like really in stride. So,
well, I hope that he would say that.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
He'd be really messed up if he came to you and said, "My kid hates this."
But hoping you say something and then actually hearing it are two different things. So
that's fair. That's fair.
No, but I mean, again, if you're PJ, I'm always a glass half full kind of guy. Like, what can I learn from the Sunbelt Player of the Year? You know, what can I learn from him? You know, probably a lot. How he approaches the game. He's played a lot of football. He's been a few places. Like, college football is different now. And you got to remember in the past, too, a lot of true freshmen or redshirt freshmen don't always start. Like, you used to have to wait to get on the field as like a redshirt sophomore or a junior. And so to sit a year, you redshirted, okay, you burn a year, obviously, to sit behind a guy who got 1 year left eligibility, soak in as much as you can, and build that relationship with Coach Kenny and Coach Leftwich. And I don't see how that's a lose situation.
Those guys that stayed and got graduate degrees, the smartest people in the world. That's amazing. I think he showed up just to take like 8 weeks of classes too. So he's just rolling in, get some free education. Immediately got an NIL deal with, what is it, AJ's Barbecue. So
AJ's.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. He probably did his taxes already. He's smarter than me. I still have to do my taxes before Monday. Speaking of money, Maroon and Golden was accused, the NIL collective was accused of being a deep state money group, to which we quickly corrected online. And we're like, hey, why don't you watch our podcast that explains everything about it?
I missed this. What are they connecting into like the Clinton Foundation? What's going on over there?
So, you want me to read them verbatim?
Yeah, read it verbatim. I missed this.
Verbatim.
I'm sorry, Thadd.
Get on Twitter, man. Help me out.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm swinging for Thadd.
I know.
There's nowhere to be found.
No, I know. I'm scared. I'm J. Coleing it.
Okay, so
it's Andrew's burner account.
Exactly. Yeah. So Andrew tweeted, "Why is this M&G NIL so secretive? It's not public who is on the board, the bylaws, who votes, which athletes get support. The vote needed to support any athlete, the terms of how long the athletes will get NIL money, where the money is actually going, etc." So I said, sir, I think all of your questions and more will be answered in this podcast.
That's so stupid. Sorry. Yeah. That's dumb. Because
also, if you just click on the Maroon and Golden NIL thing, I think you can answer like most of those, like just like scrolling on one page.
A quick Google search.
I mean, Justin did a great job of getting on here and laying the foundation of how it started, who's on the board, how it works. You know, we talked more football last time. I touched on it briefly, but I mean, again, the board is Justin, Richard, Alex, Josh. Let me see my name. John and myself to answer that part. Normally contracts for athletes are through a season. Just to answer that part, we are not going to give out how much we compensate athletes to keep the locker room healthy. Like, you don't want locker room controversy, just like at your job place. There's no posting that says everybody who works here, this is their salary or their payments. We are working on, like, the goal is to be as transparent as possible. Right, so that way you know who's active. We're not hard to find. You know, you can message me or some of the other guys. Who we have signed, we have announced. Now we got some things in the works. Hopefully, some of the things we're working on, we can get that launched, either by the portal or after the portal closes. But I mean, I don't think it's very secretive at all of what we're up to. What you sign up for is on the website, so you know what you're getting at each level. You get actual merchandise and gear and signed autographs from players. I mean, I think our monthly subscription is one, it's not super expensive, and two, you get a lot for what you're giving.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the goal, was like, if we're going to ask the fans to get involved, which go to maroonandgolden.com/NIL and get involved. If you're going to get involved, we want you to get something, right? Because we'd love to see, because like there's a special collected t-shirt that only collected members get. And we're just trying to do things special so you really feel like you're a part of building something. And so just again, answer those questions, there's 6 of us on the board. We signed 2 players. We're not going to say exactly how much we're giving each player. We are working on a website that's going to have, like, we're working on a different landing page that has, like, anybody who donates. We're thinking of different ways to create things to make sure we're highlighting those who are giving substantial amounts. But we're going to at some point get to on the website too, is like, okay, here's how much we've raised. Here's how many athletes we've signed. And so we're constantly working on ways to give as much information out there that's appropriate to give without causing problems for locker room or giving other teams competitive advantages. Like, for example, if you subscribe, you get access to the private forum. If I put, I'm paying X player X amount of dollars, who's to say I'm not another school? I'd pay $200 for that information. So there's some things here. It's like, we want to be as transparent as possible without causing problems. And again, the whole idea is to support that athletes. Like, the 6 of us on the board, we're not taking $1 in compensation to do this. I'm doing this in my spare time. Justin's doing it in his spare time. Josh is helping. Richard's helping. Alex, John, everyone's doing this in their spare time. And we got a group chat. We're texting 24/7 how we can improve things and things we can create. And so again, we're not taking a cut. The idea is to keep as much money in there to go directly to the athletes. And so again, I wish we could just sit here and say, pull the curtain back and here's everything, but you'd cause more problems than you think by doing that.
Squaring around live from Dubai.
It's the Jacob Rodriguez bag watcher group over here who wants to pocket watch everybody. They want to know how much everybody's making. It's rats, bro. It's people like that are going to tear this program down. I blame Jacob.
I'll say
100% on this.
In my real
Jacob's
life,
not pocket watching. Jacob's not pocket watching. He doesn't even file his taxes, so he's not watching his pockets.
That's true.
I'll tell you though, you get a coach that signs a contract. This man is foiling it immediately.
Right there. He's
like, there. What's the reporter?
Yeah, okay.
I will say, in my real life too, I do stir controversy, because as soon as I get into a newsroom, I go up to the best producer, like in jail. I go up to the best producer and I'm like, how much are you making compared to me? And I immediately start that thing. So the athletes are a lot better than that than I am, for sure.
Yeah,
but I wanted to get those allegations front and center so we could address them. Yeah, allegations and accusations.
Jeez.
Yeah, but no, again, we want to be as transparent as possible without causing problems. And so again, sometimes too much information is not a good thing.
TMI.
Yeah.
But I think the best way to learn how all that shit works is to join the Maroon and Gold Collective. Hey,
watch the pod.
Watch the pod.
There you go.
Okay, back to the spring game. We got some kind of like base level questions. I think these are all the questions that a lot of people would have on their minds coming into this weekend. They're from Raymond, aka at Ray ATC. What are your thoughts on spring ball so far? Does it feel different than last year? More intense, more unified? Thadd, have you made your way out to practice? Have you been around different things? What do you think?
Yeah, I've probably been to 3 or 4 practices. It feels different because I think guys who are returning know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Like your first year under a coach, you're trying to figure out formations and plays, and it's very basic. But now you have guys coming back who've been in the program, who have worked out, who understand, okay, these are what coaches expect from me. It feels different. I mean, those guys are competing. There's been a few times where, you got some pushing and shoving after the whistle because they're really getting after it. And so it's been a great spring ball from the practices I've been at. The times I haven't been there, and people tell me, hey, man, the guys look really good. Offense and defense are both getting after it. And so I think that, again, it's an exciting time for us as fans because, like, okay, if they're competing this hard in spring and they're stronger and they're bigger and they're faster, and some guys have lost weight and need to lose weight, some guys have gotten bigger. Coach Heath has done a great job in the weight room with these guys, so they're prepared for spring ball. I don't think you've had any major injuries in spring either. knock on wood, but I don't think you have any major injuries in spring, so you're healthy coming out of it, which is good. And again, spring, when you're a coach and a player, you're trying to kind of do one of two things. One, you're trying to see how hard do the guys compete every day. As a player, you're trying to say, how have I gotten better each day? Like if I was a starter last year, how do I keep the guys behind me off my heels? If I'm a guy who got some playing time because of injuries or rotations, how do I get more playing time? And so that's the cool thing about spring ball is it might not always look the cleanest play-wise, but you're saying how hard are the guys getting after it? And are they making the corrections we're making in film and in practice? Are they not making the same mistake twice?
No. I think for year one as a head coach too, it's a completely different vibe than year two, especially after the season that Coach Kenny had. He can kind of come in a little bit more relaxed, nonchalant. Last year, he talked a lot about at this time kind of setting the tempo, like him and his coaches, like setting the tempo for like how the entire year is going to go. And now they don't really have to do that because a lot of the players know what to expect. Got a lot of returners coming back. Yeah, that's kind of like what the vibes are. It's just like it feels like there's a lot more experience, and it feels they're just a little bit more comfortable because it's their own home again. They're not figuring out where, like, I guess I want to say like the bathroom is because they of course they were the bathroom, but you're not figuring out like base level things. You're expanding different things and stuff like that.
The
And
proverbial bathroom.
the proverbial bathroom.
Where do these second string guys stand during these scrimmages? Yeah, you know what I mean? I get it.
Mhm.
I do think it's interesting that you talk about how the vibes feel like more different. I would say probably more unified too, because again, it's year two. You got guys who have already done a year in the system, getting more work in. The one thing I will say though about GJ is that last year the spring game kind of felt like a walkthrough, right? It didn't, we were excited, we want to see what's happening, but it felt like honestly like just a walkthrough, and we still ended up winning like 7 games in the bowl game. So this year it's like, hey, if there's a little bit of intensity, okay, well the standard is win a bowl game. Now, like, do we take it to the next level and say win the conference? Is that like what the next like bar is? And I think you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But if you come to the spring game on Saturday and you see a team that is like really sharp, I think you can go into the summer and early fall and say to yourself, like, hey, maybe we can win the conference. Maybe that is like a realistic goal.
This is perfect, Andrew, because that's actually Raymond's second question is what do you think GJ will do in year two? And do we have a legit chance at a New Year's Six Bowl?
Now, here's what I need you to do, Jakey, as the producer. I need you to take that GJ Kenny screenshot with rat poison.
The Sun Belt champ could get an automatic bid to the playoff this season, so who could that be? The team I'd put $100 on right now to win the Sun Belt, Texas State. They have the best transfer portal class. Jordan McLeod fell from the clouds into their lap from a conference rival. He's the reigning Sun Belt player of the year, one of 6 quarterbacks with at least 40 tutties. And Bleacher Report has McLeod listed as a number 8 quarterback in college football. Give me the Bobcats to win it for the first time ever. They don't call it the Fun Belt for no reason.
I was just going to bring that up.
This is where I'm going. Is it rat poison? Because there's been a couple people have already put out there, hey, conference tiers for the Sun Belt, which I was like, you are really scraping the bottom of the barrel if you're going conference tiers for the Sun Belt Conference in April, but whatever.
These guys are starved for football.
Is it rat poison?
I think so. I mean, because well, here's the deal, right? As a locker room, you can't get too high or low off the outside noise. Like no different than when it's, oh my God, fire the coach, or oh my God, we're going to win a conference title. You still have to show up every day and put the work in. And so if we're sitting here saying 12-0, which you guys have me in the pod last time, 12-0, baby. but I'm a fan now, right? Yeah. I'm not a player anymore. When you're in the locker room as the coach and as the players, you can't be looking at 12-0 in New Year's Six.
You're 1-0.
You're 0-0 right now.
No, well, you're trying to be 1-0.
Trying to be 1-0, but you're 0-0. And until you're 1-0, you can't go 2-0. And so you really have to take it in stride. And it's hard because we are such a passionate fan base who has been waiting for this. I mean, I remember when I played and we beat Houston and we came back to San Marcos and I was like, oh my God, like we can go ahead and do whatever we want. There's no rules. And then we got smoked by Texas Tech the week later. Like, okay, there's some rules here. But it's just like when you're a new program and a new coach, and like we're all saying, you've established the process, guys know what to expect. And we talked about physicality in practice. Everything has changed from, when I played 10, 11, and 12, I was like, you did inside run period, you're hitting each other head on for 10 minutes straight. That's not how practice works. He runs more of an NFL-style program where it's we're going to get good reps in. We're not going to try and hurt the guys. We're going to put them through some physical activities, but the idea is keep them healthy and make sure we're doing the right things. Running around and hitting people all day long doesn't make you a good football team, right? Can we execute on the field time and time and time again and not make the same mistake twice? And so, yeah, I mean, depending on where you're sitting, it's rat poison. If you're a fan, it's great. You know, we're 10 games in, and, you know, if you look at it, maybe it is 12-0, but we still got to win the first one. So as a fan, no, it's not rat poison, but if you're in the locker room, it's just like you don't read the headlines. Like, you let the headlines be the headlines.
I wish that he wouldn't have quoted that tweet. I wish he would have just tweeted just the rat emoji and the poison emoji just out of the blue. Like, don't give us the content. Don't quote the tweet. Just tweet that and then have us be like, what the hell is he talking about? What is going on here? And
that's funny. He did tweet the rat and the skull and crossbones emoji.
Exactly.
I love it, though. But on Instagram, he put, thanks for the shout out, rat poison.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love it. I'm not mad at him for that.
No.
I mean, again, it's his job is to maintain the locker room, keep those guys focused, keep them working hard. And so you have to let your team know, like, yeah, it's great that people think we can accomplish it, but you still have to do the work to accomplish those goals.
Do what Trouty does and just post that gif of him shaking hands every time he gets a recruit. Just every time you see crazy, wild Texas State stuff, put the emoji, tweet it out, get Leftwich to tweet it out, get the Neely to tweet it out. And then when you see negative deals where, like, let's say Joel Klatt in like 2 weeks because he runs out of content says, like, actually Texas State might go 6-6 or some bullshit.
State's in trouble.
Quote that and be like, hey, bulletin board material. Let's do it. You know, can't wait to be on the Fox big noon kickoff in week 14, you know, when we're playing for a conference championship.
That's why
Joel.
That's why I don't live or die necessarily by what the spring game looks like, because it's impossible. You know, like, this team is going to look completely different in September. So.
I hope not. I hope they don't look completely different. I hope it's the same quarterback.
But after they do like an offensive install and then, you know, like actually have most of the playbook together, they're not going to. You might see at the spring game they're going to run the same play like 4 or 5 times in a row and then go to the same guy. You know, you hope they don't make the same mistake or any mistakes on any of those.
Well,
but I'm just
now
saying
that
they're not going
Hawkins
to.
is gone. Now that Ashley Hawkins is gone, I know that we're not going to see the same
spring game last year.
We're not going to see the same drop 4 times in a row.
Hey, not too much on my guy.
No slander over here, please.
That's my boy, Ashton Hawkins.
Look how they massacred my boy.
But no, I mean, again, in the spring, even like Coach Leftwich has talked about it. Coach Kenny talked about it on one of the press conferences, like, this is the time to try new things.
Yeah.
And so the good thing, as us for a fan base, we have to realize, like, okay, TJ got here in the fall. You're getting a full spring with Jordan to say, hey, quarterback, what plays do you like? What did y'all do well at JMU? What formations do you like? What reads do you like? And you can you have a whole summer and spring to build an offense around his skill set and what he does. Because if you're watching, I think on Instagram, Coach Barrick had the highlight. He's like, dude, he's like a guard. He's like Chris Paul.
Back in my day, baby, 2005, scramble drill. Guess what everybody did when I took off?
What?
Get the hell out the way.
Oh, you took out?
House call.
Okay.
That's what I need you to do, bro. That's what I need you to do.
Like,
you want to throw it, huh?
Yeah, I like
point
guard.
guard.
I like to be
point guard. I like it. I did that too, though. Nah, he is a point guard, though, bro. Hey, when you said Chris Paul, though, you really are Chris Paul, though. I give you that.
He's like, you don't even want to run on. You just want to dish it out. He's like, he's really like that. And so it's like, let's make sure we find things that highlight him.
And I think that if you look at, like, again, skeleton, this is 12 months ago, but if you look at the way that GJ was building the team last year, when it was like, oh, we might be Malik Hornsby, you could see that, like, it was going to be a running game. You had a whole running back room full of guys, like 4 or 5 guys deep, and you had a running quarterback. And now you went through a season where it was more of a statuesque, non-mobile quarterback, and you still won 7 games.
Statuesque?
Changing on the... I would say so.
The dude had like 7 rushing touchdowns.
I would say non-mobile.
TJ
he's just not
Finley,
a running quarterback, but he's.
If the option is mobile quarterback or non-mobile quarterback, TJ Finley fits in one of these buckets. Which one are you putting him in?
Is there a third bucket with those?
No,
two?
no.
I mean, again, here's the deal.
The guy moved like Big Ben.
Hey, Big Ben won a Super Bowl, but
hey, I'm just saying. He was not Cam Newton.
6'7", 260. I mean, he moves well. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's an immobile quarterback, he had 7 rushing touchdowns. He had a 15-yard touchdown rush.
He's 6'7" and fell over a couple times. What are we talking about here, boys? Like, what's going on?
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think he's a non-mobile. Like, I wouldn't say like Eli Manning is non-mobile.
That's okay. That is fair. To compare him to Malik, though.
No, he's not.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but again, I'm just saying Malik is one of those guys who runs a 4.2. I mean, you're putting him
I can only compare to what is also in the room. I can only compare to what we got.
Compared to Malik, he's not as mobile. But I put non-mobile as like a Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, like a sitting duck. I mean, he scrambled, he made plays happen, he rolled out, he extended some plays. Like, he's just not as mobile as Malik.
Compared to the other quarterbacks in the conference, even, I would say that he was one of the bottom third of like mobile like of the quarterbacks who can move. He is in the bottom third in the Sun Belt. Just because you have 7 rushing touchdowns does not mean that you're like some sort of great running quarterback. What are we doing here?
Won the Sun Belt last year.
I'm just saying. So point is that you have a quarterback now in McLeod who, like you said, Chris Paul-esque, wants to move the ball around. You have more time to work with him. I can only imagine that the first 3 weeks of the season offensively will look better than the first 3 weeks of last season. I think that's a fair statement. Yeah,
I mean, we struggled offensively at UTSA, but that was week 2, and Nash broke his leg second quarter and trying to shore up the offensive line. I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know if it's the same exact offense, put it that way. So you can't say, like, if you can't compare the two to this, like, unless they're running the same exact plays or very similar plays and very similar offense style. You could do quarterback rating, you could do offensive rating, you could do offensive plays. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. There's a lot of ways to do it. But again, if you're running a more pass heavy or more, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to get too technical here, but it's just a matter of, is it the same offensive play style? Because TJ and Jordan have different skill sets from size and what they're trying to accomplish.
This is what I was trying to pull up too for TJ Finley. In 13 games, he had 78 rushing attempts for 266 yards, 5 touchdowns. His longest was 24. So yeah, definitely not run first, but not terrible either.
There were some times in the pocket, guys. What are we doing? We are rehashing old stuff, but there's times in the pocket where the pocket collapsed, and thank God he's 6'7" because he got hit like 3 different ways by defensive players and was able to like fall forward for a 1-yard gain.
Well, how many times did we go to a design QB draw from inside?
We're not running QB run plays either, so it's like I'm not faulting him for not rushing because he's probably not looking to rush because he's got a great arm. Like, some guys extend to throw it, some guys extend the plays for a run, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to fault him for not having 1,000 rush yards or 800 rush yards. Like, we won 7 games and won a bowl game. His play style obviously worked. I mean, so
10-yard lead, he's getting chased down from behind.
I mean, sure, why not?
Yeah, that's what by defensive linemen.
I mean, they run 4.5 these days.
Okay.
The game's changed.
Big Thadd with a big zag.
I mean, no, the dude at UT ran a 4.840 at the combine, and he's like 330 pounds. Like, D-linemen aren't slow and sloppy like they used to be anymore.
My God, if Derrick Rose had that guy's knee, we would be talking about a different NBA. We've already kind of been talking about this a little bit. The Barrick Neely hype video that came out.
Where my quarterback at? Back in my day, I told him, hey, when I scramble, y'all just get out of the way. He already know.
Go block somebody.
Block.
I wanted to run through a brick wall after I saw that. And the comments under that video were like, if GJ Kinney ever leaves, we got Barrick Neely. And I was like, hey, everybody calm down here. But it was really cool to see Coach Neely coaching. And it's exactly like that in person. I was obsessed with watching him. I just hung out pretty much exclusively with the running backs and receivers when I was over there for the last spring practice. Your thoughts, Big Thadd? What'd you think?
I think just from Dampus to Dawn to hiring GJ to bringing Bailiff back to bringing Barrick back, if you want to get people re-engaged, you bring back those who have had success. And Bailiff's been here on and off for 40 years. Barrick is Barrick Neely. Probably needs a statue here soon. But it's just like, you bring that caliber back, and you bring back the people who will watch them who are older, the people who went to school with them, and the people who are younger who come to games a while. Like, you bring back a lot of San Marcos. And Bailiff is around town all the time, shaking hands and kissing babies, and people love him. And I've gotten pretty close with Coach Biliff, and I feel like I played for him. Like he came by the other day to the office, like, hey, I haven't seen you in a little bit. You doing all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing great, Coach. Like it's cool to have somebody like that in the community. And then you bring a Barrick Neely back, who, I mean, they damn near won a championship at the FCF level. So it's like, it's another great add to a coaching staff. And the morale, and again, synergy, the buzzword you guys like last time, the synergy in town is like, you just walking by the baseball game, people are like, oh, hey, Barrick. Like,
which is, they put out the weird boomer like ratings of like best college towns, and that to me is like a staple of a college town, is that a college legend walks back through, and dudes who went to school like 20 years after he graduated are like, that's Barrick Neely. Like, that is a college town to me. So that's great. I love that.
I think that might be the best definition you've ever used. That's perfect.
But he's a great coach too. I mean, great recruiter and a great person. I mean, he fits in a lot of different categories. It's like, okay, he's a good football coach. He's a legend. He develops these men. They enjoy being coached by him. Like it's again, it's another, like we talked about last time, another good value add. You're like, wow, we can get that guy who's recruiting folks.
Which is crazy. Like, we talk about it all the time about how cheap Texas State was for like, I don't know, 30 years. And now it's like they're finally at the point where we're getting good ads. Like, we're getting like bargain deals for like, oh yeah, Barrick Neely's available. Yeah, let's bring him in. You know what I mean? Like, GJ Kenny's available. Yeah, let's go get that guy. Leftwich is available. It's like, this is great. You love to see this. Like, this is something that Texas State historically, again, over the last, like, 3 decades, has not been great at. So it's interesting to see how quickly the tides can turn when you get a couple of good hires, how quickly things can change.
Yeah,
not to bag watch too, but that extension that DJ Kinney got will probably go down as one of the best financial investments for a football school to have made last season.
100%. I mean, because, you know, like we talked about, he's a guy who has had success at a lot of programs, whether it just as the offensive coordinator and QB coach, or down at UIW and taking that thing to another level, and out here and immediately having success. And that goes back to kind of the tempo in practice, is the guys have an expectation of winning. Like, there's always an unknown. You come to a new program and you haven't played, you're like, can we win right away? And not go like, hey, we won 5 and then won 7 and then now we're good. No, we're good right away. And so now there's still that expectation that they have of saying, okay, we won 7 games of a bowl game last year. That's the standard now. So it's how quickly that standard's changed.
Crazy. Life after football can be weird. The last time you were on, we talked about your experience doing that. Sam Latham was one of the guys that was out at Texas State's Pro Day, kind of showing off his stuff. He was also one of the guys at the WWE Philadelphia 24 open tryout. This is like basically the NFL draft, but for the WWE. So getting to show his stuff. Not only would I think Sam Latham be a great WWE superstar in the next generation or whatever, who else would be great NFL or WWE stars? I think Ben Bell, honestly, might be crazy too.
I would like to see the Bell brothers as a tag team.
Ooh.
Yeah. The Bell brothers, right? But no, Ben, he's gonna have a great year. He's gonna do some great things, and we're excited for his future. But another WWE guy. Sometimes you gotta have personality too, like character. And so, who else? I'm trying to think. I mean, half the D-line guys are hilarious. And I'm a big like, I grew up, my grandmother, she didn't watch like soap operas, like she watched wrestling. So she put me on wrestling at a young age. Like,
who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh, The Rock. You being a 9-year-old kid and doing the eyebrow, and if you smell The Rock is cooking, I mean, calling kids jabroni in the hallway. But I would probably say another one would be, I think Big Nash would be a good wrestler.
Ooh, yeah.
Any offensive, defensive line guy. Because the big guys are mobile now. They're not big, sloppy guys. Like, the big guys are pretty stout. I think, who else? I don't know. I gotta think on that one. What do y'all think?
I think Brady McBride missed his calling. I think he could have been the best heel ever. He's right up there with The Miz and Cody Rhodes.
No.
He could be that guy.
No, I love you, Brady. That's a bad
What do you mean? Those guys make a bunch of money. You're welcome.
He would never. No, he's too small. He's
too small.
He's too small, and even on the best cycle, he's not getting big enough to be in the WWE. It's not. That's not happening ever. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Cole Wilson off
Do you
the
remember
top rope.
Gabe Schaefer? Do you remember Gabe Schaefer, the tight end? I think he would have been a good WWE guy. Like in that same vein of just like ripped dude. Like the person, I don't know. Maybe the personality was there. I'm not quite sure. I didn't get to talk to him enough, but that's the one that came to mind the quickest because he was just big and strong.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the D line guys are hilarious. Every time out there, like,
Yeah.
they're all funny. So you want some guys who are going to be funny and sell some tickets, and because a lot of WWE is obviously it's athletic ability, but it's also like, can you play with the crowd strengths?
Would have you been a good WWE wrestler?
I mean, probably.
Could you have done it?
Can you do a
I
promo?
probably-
Can you do a promo? Can you cut a promo for us?
that wasn't in the mailbag. That was not in the mailbag.
That's funny.
But no, I mean, I had watched it religiously from probably for 15 years. I mean, I grew up when WCW and WWF were competing, merger, and then I remember watching like the Monday Night Nitro. They're like, hey, that's it. Monday Night Nitro doesn't exist anymore. You're like, what do you mean? Yeah, we were bought out by WWF yesterday. You're like, what? What? What's gonna happen, right?
You learned about mergers when you were 10.
Mergers and
What do you mean?
acquisitions. Man, right?
And
But,
that's why you're in the field. You're in the field. You know?
Yeah.
I should have known. It's WWF. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. But it's just remembering those times, like really being aware of what's going on in the Attitude Era, like doing DX at school and getting in trouble.
That's a brave little man. Break it down.
Like,
Yeah.
just stuff like that. But I'll never forget. My grandmother took me to the Cow Palace, which is like an event center in San Francisco, and that's where I saw The Rock live the first time.
Damn.
He did the whole, like, even after the show was over, he did a whole thing with the crowd, like just a whole promo, and it was like, damn, like he's really good at this. And that was my favorite character, was just like, or wrestler at the time. But yeah, no, I probably could have done it. A couple injuries, but probably could have done it.
Yeah. I couldn't. So
you're the guys behind the mic, Zim. You could be like,
oh yeah,
whatever
Oh, yeah.
Pat McAfee does now for them, where he just shows up every now and then. I'll be like
Jim
West Side
Ross.
Gun in the front row. That's fun. I think we touched on this too a little bit, but NIL booming. Anybody ever heard of what is that? Joe's Hangry Chicken?
Yeah.
Only Ishmael Mahdi boosting them. Like I think he went from like 0 followers to like 200 in like a day. Pretty nuts.
Wow.
And then
they had an Instagram first, then they got a Twitter, and then
There you
Twitter
go.
kind of took over, and coaches are going to eat there. Which again, that's what you want in a college town. Right?
that's
Like,
located right where like Ike's Sandwiches used to be or something like that. It's
the
like
same
right off the
location,
square. Yeah.
like 2 spots down from Torchies.
Oh, okay. I know where that is then. Okay.
Yeah. It used to be
Damn. All right. That's where we're going Saturday then, Jake.
a pizza place or something before. Oh man, on Saturday I really want to go to Valentino's because they got this crab rangoon pizza. Actually,
No, we're not going to Valentino's again.
their
That
special of the
lady-
week.
Nah, that lady abused me the last time we were there. She made fun of me. So
You made fun of her though for being Mexican.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
But no, I mean that's what you want in a small town. Like in my mind, every one of these food spots should have a deal with some athlete.
Yeah.
Every single one, easily.
Especially when like a lot of people put NIL and they have like that idea in their head of like Archie Manning or Bronny James. It's like, well, I don't have that type of, you know what I mean? But it doesn't need to be that. It could be literally something that's like, not a big deal. But if you're a mom and pop local place and you want college kids to get there, I'll tell you a good way to get there is to have a student athlete as like an endorser.
Yeah, and I told Ish, I'm like, dude, you need your own sandwich.
Ooh.
For sure.
Yeah.
Number
No,
21 is
100%.
Ish. They got numbers like 1 through 12. I've been there. But you want to have the Ish, the number 21, and whatever you like on your sandwich needs to be that sandwich. And then you get a cut of that sandwich. So if they're selling Ish sandwiches, you want 10%.
Yeah. That's a layup. That's so smart. In fact, if any of the people in San Marcos want to have a square around sandwich, we don't even need any revenue for that. I just want to see my name on a sandwich board.
I'd like some revenue, but sure, yeah. Let's get free sandwiches.
What you guys are doing with Subway?
Ooh.
That'd be something. You see, the problem is squaring around. It would have to be like a square sandwich, right? So I'm thinking like patty melt type. What do you think, Jake? think that would make
I would
sense?
love that actually.
A
Yeah.
patty melt type of sandwich. We'll figure something out. We'll come together.
Yeah, let's get the cafeteria of the courthouse in Hayes County, the Hayes County courthouse in the middle of the square to serve up some squared around sandwiches.
You know what the square around sandwich would be? It would be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that they give to the people when they're going for trial.
That's funny. Nope, you got a DUI, sir. But here's your squaring around sandwich.
Squarin sandwich.
Your square and sandwich, bag of chips and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, no crust. Here you go.
I say Zimmel looks like a no crust guy, so you can get it the Zimmel way or the Jake way.
Yeah.
Crust or no crust, please.
Big
I'll
crust.
take a
dude.
Zimmel. Let me get the Zimmel way.
Dang.
Oh, there you go.
I think the crust is the best part for pizza and for like bread, like breadsticks. The little end of it. That's the best part.
You can get it white bread or whole wheat.
I prefer honey wheat, actually.
There you go.
It's all the brown, but all the sweet too.
You went the Jake way or the Zimmel way?
Oh gosh.
Let's talk some softball, everybody. So softball's continuing to get ranked. The best content I think this week goes to Anna Jones, who had this on from one of JJ Smith's home runs. She quoted the video from the softball team.
Presence in the box.
That ball hammered to right field. J.J. Smith over the scoreboard and rights. Three-run jack.
Wow.
And then said, get her some dude wipes. At
Okay.
dude wipes, she took a shit on that ball over the scoreboard. I think it's still going.
Which was insane.
That was a
the-
hard retweet on the
that
timeline
was-
for us.
That was such an insane post. I saw that. I was so shocked. I was like, what is going on? This is what we're talking about though when we're talking about big up in women's sports is this type of content right here. This is what I want to see every softball game, every women's basketball game, every volleyball game, soccer game. This is the type of content that I need to see.
Some dude wipe shout outs. Yeah. That's no, but I mean the ladies are rolling. I mean, it's not just like one player, it's all of them. You're getting big RBIs, some home runs. I mean, Jessica's killing on the mound. The other pitchers are doing well. It's like it's like a well-oiled machine of all of it coming together. You don't know who's going to surprise you in which games, but like different people have had really good games.
And Jacob has decided not to curse either of the teams by bringing any of the players on the podcast.
I've
every time
really
he
tried
brings-
hard to bring one of them on.
Every time he brings somebody on, they'll come on and they'll be like, we feel pretty confident. And then immediately either like get hurt or lose.
What
or
about
go
the
in a
beginning of the
slump.
season when I brought Dalen Pena on? Then he went on like a 4 or 5 game tear where he had a home run or an RBI. And
Yeah,
like
he
each of
fought
them.
against the curse as hard as he could. What's his box score right now in that Texas game?
Why don't
Hey,
you bring him back on and maybe it undoes the curse.
Yeah, so I put my pennies into the softball team this year, and I'm getting good returns back. So I'm very happy that I invested.
you invested.
I
early.
will say this though. I've noticed that Ricky Woodard, every 4 years, she gets one of these pitchers, develops them, and then by their senior year, it's like a well-oiled machine. Like, okay, the pitcher's hitting their peak, the bats really start waking up. But my only complaint, can we do that the 3 years in between? Can we find a way so where it's like not every 4 years, maybe every like 2 years, we have this like everything kind of works together? But that's it. And I don't want to, get too excited because we're only in April. But I think this is a team that can make a little bit of a run in the college softball postseason.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I had never paid too much attention to softball. Like it's not something I'm watching all the time. And like I really started to catch the buzz. Like, I didn't really watch. I didn't realize that like the same pitcher pitches almost every game. Like Jessica's pitch,
Yes.
he's a starting pitcher like every game. And I'm like, I didn't realize that. So when you develop a pitcher like that and they can control the game, that's when you start having these streaks. It's like, okay, if she's on the mound, she's not giving up really any runs. She's striking out damn near every other batter. And so, yeah, you're going to be able to win games 2-0 versus having to win a game 11-8. And so when you can get these pitchers in, develop them, yeah, you want it to happen sooner. But, sometimes it takes time to find that workhorse you can put on the mound night in, night out, and who's just going to keep delivering over and over and over again.
Call him the mailman.
I don't know how big into Star Wars you are, Big Thadd, but I'm a huge nerd. I used to read the novels and stuff. The things that are non-canon anymore, actually. So none of this shit matters anymore. But the Sith had a rule of two, where you can only have two Sith masters at one time, and one was the big Sith, the other one was the little Sith, So Darth Plagueis, whatever. Anyway,
I've watched
that's
all
how
the movies 1,000 times. I've never read the books. You got me.
This guy gets it. No. You're right. You just watch the
that's
movies. You don't need to go
That's
that
how
deep.
softball was set up, though, for the longest time. We would have like a generational pitcher, and then right under her was like the next one coming up. So we had like Randy Rupp, Jessica Mullins,
Yeah.
It's been cool to see that rise. And then Megan King before Randy Rupp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, after. It was Rupp,
King,
Mullins.
Then Mullins.
Get your softball history together, Jakey. Come on. Pull
Hey,
it together.
I got some bonds in that team from a while ago. I'm recalling. So big returns. Do we want to overreact to baseball, which is soon to be 16 and 17 after they play the last inning? I think that they needed from last night.
Oh, you're gonna count out? You're counting out the Cats?
They're not going to score.
9-1?
They are not going to score 8 runs in the final inning at Dish Falk, by the way. So they're technically playing 2 games in Austin.
Let me tell you a thing or two about Texas Longhorn baseball. Don't ever count the Longhorns in. Don't ever count the Longhorns in. They'll find a way to lose it. No, it's not looking good for our Cats. Sad.
They don't call it Slam Marcus for a reason. So I'm just
That's
okay, we get the bats get hot. Mayor Pena gets a grand slam. Who knows?
Something about that field too. Dish Falk. We always show up. So
we got some runners on base yesterday. We had some opportunities. You got to be able to rub those guys in, get 2 or 3 runs out of that. But I mean, baseball to me is such a streaky sport.
Yes.
So either you're on a good streak or a bad streak. I think again, I'll never root against the Cats. I always wants to come back. So who knows?
Yeah, unlike Jacob, who roots against the Bobcats at every turn.
I do not. I've just been
Absolutely
very unlucky
fan.
every time I've made it out to the ballpark to see them play. I think I'm 0-3 on the year.
Were you there yesterday?
No, I wasn't there yesterday. Okay. But I'm like Billy Bean. Like if I missed first pitch, I don't watch the game. Don't listen to it. Don't do anything. I just scoreboard watch because that's my superstition. If I miss first pitch, I can't watch the rest of the game.
Well, you're not missing much now.
Yeah. Well, a headline that's developing. Last year, Chase Mora had year of the year, right? He was amazing. A little bit of quiet this year. He's got some base hits, a couple RBIs. He's been brought around the bases, but is yet to have a game that you're like, oh shit, that's crazy.
Is it too early to sell your stock on Mora, Jacob?
No. I bought all that stock last year. I'm not returning that shit now. No, I think maybe he's going to have a reverse season where, in the Sun Belt tournament, we were waiting for that kind of game to happen. And then he becomes the Sun Belt tournament savior, perhaps.
That's a wild way to say he didn't perform in the postseason.
Maybe he's waiting to peak. I mean, they still have 16 games or something to play.
Yeah, they got 20 games left.
Yeah, they got time to figure it out. But they do have to start winning series, which they have not done recently. They got smoked in Marshall, avoided the sweep, but they're going back on the road too this weekend. Am I a liar?
I was just we were waiting for your thoughts, but that's fine. We can keep it moving.
Oh, I mean, whenever you're buying and investing money, you got to hold it for the long term. We're not day trading here. So if you liked Mora stock last year, it's maybe down a little bit. You need to buy a little more and believe in them.
Wow.
This is the team I'd lose my home on, honestly.
What a take. I like that, Big Thadd. Look at that.
If I bought a stock a year ago and I like that stock and it's down a little bit, I'm probably going to double down on that stock if it's a good one.
Oh,
what's the worst stock that you've bought into? Either being a real stock or the stock of a player. And it doesn't have to be a Bobcat. It could be any player that you bought stock in and then the returns just did not come back.
Jamarcus Russell.
Okay.
I thought he was the savior of the Raider organization. And then you realize that he didn't watch film and he gained a bunch of weight. And a funny story, I had a friend and we were in high school, senior year, high school, first year of junior college, I think, might have been when he was on the Raiders. But anyways, he was working, one of my teammates was working for the Warriors at the time in the luxury suites. And he would order 50 wings and kill the entire thing at 50 wings.
Oh my God.
And so you hear these stories, you're we took this guy 1 overall. And then you look at who was behind him. I think it was Calvin Johnson and other players were in that same draft. Maybe I could be wrong, but probably Larry Fitzgerald. There was an all caliber receiver in that draft in that first round. So you have to do the research. But Jamarcus Russell might have been the worst stock I ever put in someone to save something.
I had some
that's not good.
I had some really bad stock in not a athlete or anything, but I thought Tyga was the best rapper in the world for like a solid 6 years.
Rack city bitch, city bitch. Rack city bitch, city rack city bitch.
So you're brushing off your student ID to hit Riverfest is what you're telling me.
Absolutely, dude. It's been my dream to see Tyga live for a long time. So I'll definitely be at Riverfest to see Tyga.
I was trying to come up with a joke for the Jamarcus Russell one, and I was saying Emron, but that wouldn't make sense. So we'll keep it moving. I don't know. I'm trying to think who I bought stock in that didn't pay off. I'm pretty good at this. That's my problem. I'm pretty good at like thinking that like
I'm pretty good at what I do.
I'm just saying I'm just not usually wrong when it comes to buying into people. Maybe Willie Jones. I know I said we weren't going to do Bobcats, but Willie Jones I thought was going to be like cold. Like I thought he was going to be like the coldest quarterback that Texas ever had. And injuries just prevented that from happening.
Tyler Vitt. I held on to Tyler
you are
bonds for the longest time. I still have them. Actually, I haven't cashed them in.
Yeah, now they're worth nothing. Now it's like they have no value. You lost.
It was so
all
funny.
value.
That picture of you, me, and Brady at whatever that barbecue place was in Dallas. That was fun. That was a great time. A meeting of the minds finally. And Tyler Vitt was like, "That's my guy. That's the guy who's been riding for me for like 6 years at this point." It's true. The mayor of Vitt Marcos returns.
Enron. Yeah, I was right. It would be Enron that you could say Jamarcus Russell was the Enron of quarterbacks.
What was The Big Short? What was that? What the hell is that movie? Is that about?
That movie that's a great movie. I tell everybody to watch it if you want to understand like what happened during the banking crisis, or at least the mortgage crisis. Is the guy was betting on people to pretty much lose their houses because there's all these bad loans. So back then, if I'm a lender and this lending team sends me all these good deals, I'm going to buy some of these deals I shouldn't buy. So pretty much the Big Short is one guy's like, I'm looking at these mortgage-backed securities. Mortgages are going to default. I'm going to bet against the housing market. So he was in theory selling against the housing market. The thing was at the time is nobody had an investment where you could do that. So these banks had to create these mortgage-backed, pretty much these short positions against mortgage-backed securities. And he was right based on reading the charts. Now he's been wrong every step of the way since. If you look at everything he shorted, he got it right once, but he's been wrong. Like, oh, he like doubled down on the stock market at the beginning of this year. And it's like
the Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Got it right once. We don't need to do it again.
Yeah, like The Big Short was just a movie on like how the housing market crashed and how the banks screwed up back in LA. It's a good movie to watch.
Now, when you watch those movies, like part of you is like, oh, I can't believe that they would do something that's kind of scummy. Does the other part of you think like, damn it, I could have done that?
No, because like I'm not an analyst. I don't sit there and like deep analyze how well Apple's technology sector's doing and where they're losing money in their business. He's more of an analyst. So your analyst could probably figure stuff out like that. But it's like once I've watched it being in this role now for going on 5 years, it's like, okay, now you really understand, like, damn, he really figured that out. When you're watching just someone else, you're like, okay, I kind of see what's going on. But like once you understand it on a deeper level, it's like, damn, that's a good movie.
See, I watched that movie maybe like 3 years ago. In the middle of actually it was like in the middle of the pandemic when I was like, I had nothing going on. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I really put my mind to this, I could do this shit.
But you got to realize too, everyone else thought he was crazy. Like, what are you doing? Even the people he worked with are like, dude, you're losing millions of dollars. Like, just wait, it's gonna happen, and then it happens, and he's,
What's new? People think I'm crazy. I'm like, I think it would be a lateral move for me on the coworkers think I'm crazy scale.
Yeah, that's true. Coworkers, friends, and family. They're
like, he's shorting what, water? Man, we just had a tsunami the other day. What is this guy talking about?
Stage 3 water drought in Kyle. Not a bad time to short water.
Dang. Even after all that rain yesterday, still stage 3?
At least that's what it says in front of my neighborhood.
Yeah.
God gets it.
Tough. I actually hope we continue to get pummeled by rain because the floating season was so dog shit last year that like I was like, am I having to push the river float now? Like, this is terrible. 16 of my friends just drunk and I'm having to swim now. This is terrible.
Yeah. My Ozempic hasn't come in yet, so if the rain doesn't want to come, it's all good.
We have anything else that we wanted to talk about? Spring game or
I have a mailbag. I have a mailbag question.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah. So let's say we go back in time a year and I give you 38.5 wins over the 4-year GJ Kinney contract, 38.5 wins, which would be about 9-ish wins per season, 9.5 wins per season.
Over what he's supposed to be contracted for? Or what he actually stays for?
We're talking the 4-year, 4 years, right? I say, would you take 38.5 wins over or under? Are you taking it? What do you do? What are you doing? Thadd, we'll start with you. Last year. So you already, right now, you already know you got 7 wins in the bank. So 38.5 wins last year. Would you be taking the over or the under?
I would probably take the over.
Last year?
No, not like you said. I already had 7.
Okay.
That's why I said
Right.
the over.
Well,
Going into last year, I probably would have said under, only because we just haven't seen the success.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you take out the 05 years after that, like when I came, I forgot what they were in 06 and 07. 08 they won Southland, I think, and then 09 they weren't stellar. I got here in 10, we were 6-6. We were 6-6 again in 11. We went 4-8. My senior year, we went to D1. It's just like we haven't had the success yet. So to say some guy's going to come in here and Denver win 9 to 10 games a year after we hadn't won more than 4 games in a decade, it's kind of like that's going to take some talent, going to take some recruiting, it's going to take now some NIL money. Like the game's changed too. It's not just like recruit and retain. Now it's a little bit of NIL.
So he needs to win 31 games over this season, next season, the next season. Do you think he gets 31 wins over the next 3 years?
I would love for it to happen. It's tough. I mean,
do you think it happens?
Win 10 out of 12 games and then a bowl, like,
yeah.
I don't want to say it doesn't happen because I believe in him and what he's building, and I've been around the guys and what they believe. But
well, okay, let's move it down then. Let's do 35 because 38's a high number. 38's a really high number. Let's do 35. 35 wins over 4 years. So that means he's got to get 28 games over the next 3 years.
I mean, you're still at 9 a game, 9 a season. I mean, for college football, it's hard to win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he can't do it because I believe in what he's doing. Again, I believe in him, the coaching staff, what they're building, how hard the players work, what the players believe is important. But in the world we live in today where guys who are grad transfers can leave like that, people are leaving just for, again, 5 or 6 different, like, it's hard to keep a group together.
Yeah.
Like, so I think he can do it? Yeah, I think he can do it. I mean, last year he won 7 games on a short window didn't get his QB until fall. I think he can do it. If I put a stamp like, hey, we're going to win 9 games every year for the next 3 years, I'm not going to stamp that.
Okay. Jacob?
But again, I believe in what he's building and what he's doing, and I've been on the program enough now, and it's like
we all do. We all believe that he's doing the right thing. We're all in agreement there.
Hard. And I think we're in the best G5 conference. Doesn't mean some of the other schools don't pick it up. And we have never beat Louisiana Lafayette, haven't beat them yet. Like there's still some programs out there that give you that. We still got to beat. And then we play Texas, which I'm not
Texas
afraid
in 2026. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like you got a tough schedule coming up.
Archie Manning's first start, right?
Potentially, yeah. At Darrell K. Royal. Ooh.
Yeah.
Could be interesting. Jacob, do you think he gets 28 wins over the next 3 years?
You said 28 or 38? I thought you said 38.
I'm saying 28. We moved it down to 28 because he's got 3 years, this year and 2 more years.
28 for sure. I did the quick math though, because you said 38 and 4. He would have to win 10 games for the next 4 years. Like has to win 10 games to hit that line. So that's a safe under because all he has to do is just win 1 less every year, or even just one time. He wins 1 less in the next 3 years.
Well, he could win 9 and 10.
Well, no, whatever. Then it would be 9, 18, 24 plus 8. That wouldn't hit 38.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 38 over 4 years, you have 9.5 is the number, so you have to win 10 games to hit the line.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's winning 9 conference games and then a bowl game,
or a non-conference game too. Like,
I mean non-conference too, but I'm saying like our non-conference.
He could beat UTSA once. We get a UTSA win.
We're getting that dub this year.
All right, and then this is okay. That's one question. And my other question was, we talked UTSA, Jacob and I. Who has more to lose this year for Texas State and UTSA? Because I think it's UTSA. I think UTSA has more to lose than Texas State does, depending on how this outcome, how the result plays out. Because if
you're talking head-to-head matchup this year,
I'm talking head-to-head matchup this year. I think UTSA has more to lose than Texas State.
I don't think so. I think I'm not trying to put extra pressure on the program, but that's the house that Frank Harris built down there. I mean, if you watch the game last year, if he doesn't come back in that game, I think we walk away with the dub. I mean, I don't know what they gave him at halftime, but I mean, they had to carry him off the field at one point, and he's back, doing 360 spins out of the pocket, throwing a dime for a touchdown.
They showed him how many shirts they sold for the 5-0 shirts. They said, we sold this many shirts. You got to come back, bro.
Is that a testament to how bad our run defense was last year, or how good Frank Harris is,
But too, I mean, that game has extra meaning. And like they had a squad last year, and this is a year where they have 2 quarterbacks they're trying to figure out. They're probably trying to get one more here in the spring portal just to compete to say who's the best guy for the job. You've had top defensive players go to the P5 level, and we're getting most of our guys back. I mean, you add a Sunbelt player to your quarterback. I think if losing that game would be a tough pill to swallow just for Texas State fans who are like, we feel like we're finally the better team on paper. You still got to go out there and prove it and play, but paper-wise, you're like, okay, we probably have the better quarterback. We know we have the better running back. Probably have the better receiver room at this point, just on paper, because their guys have left or graduated or gone pro. O-line, a lot of it's coming back. Okay, check. They've lost some defensive caliber guys. We've added some caliber guys. You're getting Torrey back. Ben's here. You have Caleb Culp, who played well, is getting a lot of recognition. You got to fill some linebacker spots because you lost Holloway and Forrester. But, I mean, on paper, you're looking like, damn, most of this stuff is back. They got some unanswered questions in certain positions down there. On paper, you're like, okay, yeah, we feel like we're the better team on paper.
Okay.
And we probably felt that way last year, too. And, again, you're 5 plays away from winning that game last year. And so you're really like, after last year's result, you feel like you should have won. To come back this year and think we've improved the roster, it's probably more damaging to us if we don't get that dub.
If Cole Wilson had scored that touchdown and we kept Nash Jones for the whole game, I think there's not a chance in hell we don't win.
I mean, I even talked to the coach about it after the game. He's like, we felt like we could have put up, 3 or 4 touchdowns in the second half with our halftime adjustments. You go back and watch the film, and it's timing or blocking scheme or hitting the wrong hole or missing a read or not getting off the field on 3rd and long, and Cole tripping at the 7. Like you had all these little things, and like when you're watching a game, you're like, they didn't beat us, we lost the game. Like there's a difference. You get beat, you're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do there. And you go back and watch the film, like, damn, we missed that block or missed that tackle or dropped that pass or didn't make that throw or missed the gap on the run play. Like there's all these little things you can watch when you're watching film. The question you have to say is, did we just flat out lose, or did we beat ourselves because of mistakes on alignment and assignment?
A lot of question marks for UTSA too. The biggest one, quarterback, obviously, because they had a true freshman, Eddie Lee Marburger, last year take snaps, and then Owen McCown won them their first bowl game. And then Joshua Cephas is out too. He's the wide receiver. He's declared for the NFL draft. Is going to play in the NFL. He's amazing. And then I think last year on that squad they had 2 All-American running backs at one point. A lot
of had a corner and a linebacker go P5. And the year before that, a receiver go to Ole Miss. So that talented team.
Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to lose players. So what do you think, Andrew? I mean, was your question? What do you think on that?
I think this is why I said this. I think that if UTSA loses that game, that there's going to be major talk about how much longer Jeff Traylor is at UTSA, because, and this is the meaning I have behind that. Every G5 coach hits a ceiling. It just depends on when you hit that ceiling. And I think a loss to Texas State, I think he would start thinking to himself, okay, how much more do I have to prove here? You know what I mean? Like if you beat Texas State, all right, yeah, we're going to win the conference again. Texas State's probably the best non-conference similar opponent that we could probably play. I don't know. I'm just thinking to myself, like the timetable on Jeff Traylor at UTSA, I think that hourglass is starting to find its last grains. That's all I'm gonna say. I just got a feeling.
Now Zimmel's in the San Antonio media world too, so he can say shit like that just to get a rise of people online.
Yeah.
People are already saying whoever wins this game is going to be the head coach at Baylor next year.
Here's the deal with that one too.
Well, hold on. And Thadd, you said something about Baylor earlier that I didn't get to get in here. You said that they didn't know what was coming. I'm like, Dave Aranda doesn't watch film. So there you go right there. That's the problem I solved right there. Didn't watch any film.
I mean, respectfully, I just don't think Dave Aranda probably should have got this year coming back. they hadn't done well since they won the Big 12. They've been kind of average. Had a subpar year last year. And when you fire the entire staff just about and keep the head coach, it's like, well, he's picking the staff.
Could you imagine a world? Now, again, let's all close our eyes and take a picture of this, a mental image. Could you imagine a world where GJ Kenny is the head coach of Baylor and Jake Spavital is offense coordinator?
Fuck no.
I just want everybody just to think about that. If they were the Baylor Bobcats, and that's just what they ran back. They were like, hey, we got GJ Kenny, good young coach, we got a good young OC. What would Texas State's fan base that's always been very level-headed, has always been very thoughtful, very, let's like look at all angles. Very,
also the other people.
Yeah, very, nuanced. What would the take be?
Cultured.
Even if I close my eyes, like, I couldn't imagine that. Like, good. I just can't see a world where normally a head coach, you pick your own staff one. Like, you normally don't keep your coordinators. Mm-hmm. Just rule of thumb. And not because they were at Texas State. I just don't see them overlapping. I mean, you're at two different points in your career, right? I think you're at a point where Coach Kenny's had a lot of success, 30 years of head coach. Fans have expectations. Players expect to win. He expects to win. I feel like if you were to leave, you would try and keep most of what you've been building with together.
Well, with that, I hate to break the news for you. We have the graphic already made.
No, get me off.
The Baylor Bears, Bobcats.
No,
the Baylor Bobcats.
But no, I mean, I just don't see that. I mean,
that's fair.
I could see if they have a great offensive year that Spav gets an off. I could see that gets the nod. I could see that if they're doing 35 points a game, they lose games 35-42. I could see him getting an opportunity to be the coach.
Oh, that would be the worst possible move for Baylor. That'd be so funny.
They're just getting beat by 30, but they're putting up like 400 yards in the air.
I love Spav, but the failing upwards like trope that he's been getting recently, because I've seen that online a couple times, that this guy just keeps like somehow finding better jobs. That'd be tough. That'd be a really tough one.
I mean, if you take his Texas State years out, he's got a good offensive resume as an offensive coordinator. I mean, even not last year at Cal was a little rough, but the Cal years before coming here, they had a great offense, top 10. The years at West Virginia, the years at A&M, I mean, he's had great offensive success.
Now, if you can take away the blemish that is Texas State, you don't get to take the bright spot that is Johnny Manziel and be like, oh, well, look at that.
No, I'm
what about the Will Greer years? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm
saying the offensive coordinator years. Like, head coach is way more than calling plays. It's managing locker room expectations, fan bases, shaking hands.
The CEO,
It's a lot. And so maybe that's not for everybody. I'm not saying, he can't do that job. It's just saying if you just look at him purely as an offensive coordinator before being a head coach, there's a reason why he got a head coaching job, is they put up numbers everywhere he was. So I don't have a problem saying I think he, some people have to learn. You got to go through having a blemish to go, okay, now I understand what I didn't do well in this head coaching position.
Yeah, but it's different to have a blemish like Lane Kiffin or Sarkisian. It's different to have that blemish be Texas State. You know what I mean? Like,
you came to a place that didn't have success before you. It's not like you're like, coach, in my mind, respectfully, maybe not respectfully, Coach Withers is the one that drove it off the cliff.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
And so when you get here, one, your fans don't really care for you. Players don't want to come here. You have no financial support, and you're trying to get guys to come here.
Honestly, it all circles back to pocket watching, and this is where the irony that Jacob and Denise Trouth get Sunday lunch every week. It's like Denise Trouth did nothing, and Jacob is like literally hanging out with her all the time, and is just like her best friend. It's awful. It's terrible.
Well, I've shook her hand once, so she seems nice, but I mean,
no. Send your hate mail to Jacob Rodriguez on Twitter. That's Jacob R. Rodriguez.
But I mean, like, even look at, okay, Coach Kenny got here and they increased the staff salary pool.
Yeah.
And so, like, part of being a head coach is also resources. We do have the smallest weight room as a Division I program in Texas. So that's why they're expanding. Like, we don't have a lot of things. So you bring a coach in and things aren't going the right direction, and people want the AD fired. They're not buying season tickets. The suites are empty. You can't get fans to the game. hard to recruit players to say, come play here. Like, come look, this is a great place to play.
Yeah.
So,
when their high school weight room was better than their college weight room. We need to get Terrell Owens as a coach. Talk about getting guys on cheap deals. Bring Terrell Owens as like the strength and conditioning coach because he got ripped working on his driveway. I mean, like if he can do it with free weights, I think he can do it at Texas State.
That's still one of my biggest motivational videos that I put on from time to time.
He did not want to be on camera, did not want to have any attention. Why is he playing basketball on his front property?
I brought my bench outside, and while they were asking me questions, I did some sit-ups.
Some would say this is starting to become a circus.
I love the fans. One offseason, it has turned into a complete circus.
Do you think this is a distraction? Is this just hurting the team?
Hey, I ain't hurting the team.
I was just trying to make light of everything that was happening.
I think we're missing out.
Coach Heath is killing in the weight room, so he ain't going nowhere. We don't need T.O. We got a good strength coach.
Okay, but does he have free weights? Does he know how to get the free weights in the driveway?
He probably could. He's in shape, though.
I cannot wait until they finish the weight room because the most annoying thing is when the coaches are giving sound and you just hear guys slamming weights. And you're like, damn it. That was a perfect soundbite if I didn't have the weights crashing in the back and people yelling little baby lyrics.
Now, Thadd, Jacob has some issue with watching men lift weights. He doesn't like to watch dudes lift weights as a journalist. When you were a player, A, were there any journalists that came to watch you lift weights? And B, if you were lifting weights and Jacob was in the weight room, would it make you uncomfortable?
With a notepad.
With a notepad.
We didn't have any journalists in there lifting weights. A lot of times you're not like, if you're really working out and you're in the zone, you're not like, hey, who's in here today? But
see?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that'd be weird, especially like, oh, hey, the paper's here or some people. But when you're lifting weights, you're not thinking like who's in the room. Like you're in your spot. You probably had your pre-workout.
Yeah, you're locked in. Jacob, for whatever reason, is so uncomfortable around men like lifting weight. It's just I don't know what the deal is. I think I hate to say it, toxic masculinity.
I just think it's a weird part of my job that like my job as a football analyst or whatever the hell I do on this show is like from time to time, I just have to go watch dudes work out, and then other guys on the internet are like, how did he look? And I gotta feel like, hey, I look pretty good.
You look strong today.
And I have strong today. I would have no problem showing up to a pro day being like, yeah, I mean, look, he was in the spandex. I wasn't impressed. I don't know what to tell you. I thought that the legs would be bigger. He had a whole off season to like work on the lower body. That was a problem that he had. He couldn't get off the block and it didn't look good. I would have no problem with saying that. Jacob, for whatever reason, has issues.
Yeah, no Diddy, but
no Diddy.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, if you're going down to like Muscle Beach to watch guys work out, yeah, that's a little awkward. I'd be like, hey, who's this weirdo with the notepad? But like, if you're a reporter saying, okay, here's max test day,
right?
Well, I'm the only reporter that's gone on the record that I think it's weird. So everybody else, that's my no Diddy for the.
They got shirts on and stuff. They're not in there like doing nothing. They're lifting weights. They're like, oh, max test day and Nash Jones squats 700 pounds. Like, okay, that's that. But
and honestly, I'd want to be there for that. If a dude's squatting 700 pounds, that's like a small car. I'm like, I want to see that. That's a motorcycle. I want to see
guys doing that when I was there. Like Coach Fran wanted the O-line to bench 400. I think it was squat 600 or 700.
Well, because it just goes into the whole like journalistic thing. Like if I get a video or like a highlight of like somebody doing that or the opposite, like somebody failing at an attempt, like at pro day or something, I don't know, whatever. But like, it's like, oh, what do you know? 5'7" journalist who plays video games,
He's giving himself 2 inches there, folks.
I'm 5'7". You check my ID, bro. Check my ID. Those are never wrong.
Nobody's ever lied on that. Yeah.
No one's ever lied on their government issued ID.
5'5".
I'm the only journalist that's gone on the record though, saying it's a little weird,
Yeah. Sure. If we don't get a response by Colton and Kef by Friday, we're calling.
Some would say maybe they like watching guys work out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Zach Webb, I didn't say that. Jacob did because I've been hearing a lot of people
work out.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say that Zimmel's the one taking shots on this podcast. Jacob's the one took that one. All right, that's all I'm saying.
I just said I'm the one that said I don't like watching guys work out. Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to believe in my heart of hearts that if I showed up to the weight room, Big Thadd would be like, who's that ripped journalist over there? Like, what's his secret?
Nobody's fucking saying that.
Is that guy on the basketball team?
Is this what we're doing now?
No.
This rip journalist. Why you stick your arms out like that? And that's how you flex muscles.
Excuse me, bro. You guys have a separate
Call him
door I
out.
could come through.
Call him out, Thadd. Call him out. Is this what we're doing now?
We're doing it.
We're doing now.
Any NIL questions so we can answer?
No. Oh, actually, congratulations on getting the shout out by Don Coryell. Shouted out the Maroon and Gold Collective.
And I also want to thank the Maroon and Gold Collective, who are partnering with 2 of our student athletes right now. I saw that announcement a few weeks back, and that's great stuff in the NIL space for our student athletes. So please get out, support us. We want to keep doing great things. We want to keep pushing our department forward, and we need all the help that we can get. So thank you, and go Bobcats.
Yeah, no, I mean, the feedback we've gotten for the collective is people are impressed at how quickly we've been able to put things together. I mean, it's only been 3 months since we launched it. We got 2 players signed. We got some funds coming in. We're going to get a couple more guys signed here pretty soon. You know, we're getting phone calls from donors who want to get involved. Subscriptions are up. And so, again, it's just a good time to be involved with Texas State because there's multiple collectives to give to. There's multiple organizations on campus. Bobcat Club, Bobcat Bonanza is coming. Tomorrow night, Victory Star has their thing. You know, the spring game's coming. You know, we got some, I don't want to give too much away, but we got some really cool things we're working on. But it's a time right now where you're seeing like everybody wants to get involved. I got the baseball game outside. People are coming up like, hey, how can we get involved? And what do we need to be doing? And who do we give to and how? And how did Ish get the food deal? And Jordan was here taking pictures at the with AJ's barbecue. And I mean, you got the deal with, I mean, if you just go on the line of who has deals, Joey's got a deal with Supercuts. You got 5 or 6 people got deals with First Lockhart Bank. Ish has got Jack's. He's got Hangry Joe's. He's got AJ's got Jordan's with AJ's. Like, you got football starting to get some traction here in town. And I'd love to see some of the other sports get some love too, especially like softball is rolling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
track and field also nationally ranked.
Yeah, they're killing it. And so it's just, how do we get some of these other people involved in deals? But I mean, football is like the rising tide. Like when football is doing well, everybody comes out of the woodwork and wants to get involved in different sports. Because like we talked about last time, like other sports have had success over the years. Like basketball won 2 back-to-back conference titles. Women's has won. Leave it alone, Andrew. Women's has won. Softball's doing well. Baseball normally does pretty well. Track's nationally ranked. I mean, but football has always kind of been like the stain. Like, damn, we haven't.
Volleyball.
I mean, that's a staple. Volleyball's a staple.
Yeah, come on.
Football's a staple. That's you can stamp. That's a guarantee. That's a staple in Texas.
Calling it now. Soccer's going to have a great year. We talked to the coach at the end of their season, right ahead of the tournament. We snuck them in.
What'd they do? Jacob,
well,
what'd they do?
They were anchored by a team of freshmen. So let's get that out of the way.
I'm just saying, every time we talk to a person, it doesn't end up well for that team. So, not great. I
They
blame
had 2
Jacob.
games. They beat the first one. Lost the second game.
But no, it's just a good time for fans to get involved. So again, I encourage people, find a way to get involved. If it's supporting the players directly, that's through NIL. 2 different collectives, read the websites, see who's giving what, see what you like, because each one's got something different. You know, we're giving away, depending on your subscription level, private forum access, T-shirts, polos, autographed pictures, autographed playing cards, private events. So we're trying to give away as much as we can. And the whole idea is like to keep the cost down.
If only there was some like audio or video medium where people could like get all of this information, you know, like there's 2 podcasts that we did. Boom, right there. Big Thadd and Justin.
But that's just the key, right? See what's out there, get involved. If you got questions, reach out. I mean, $20 a month gets you the private form, which has more details in there. And then again, we're working on some different landing pages, but we wanted to get this thing off the ground to help sign athletes to keep people here through the spring. If we wait till fall to launch, then you have a transfer portal window that opens and all kind of things. So just a good time for fans to, if you like what's going on in sports, is to get involved through NIL.
That's the show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for squaring around.
Are you going to edit out the
yes.
part asking about people in the weight room?
Yep.
Just
100%. Yeah.
Always great to talk to Big Thadd, Andy. Spring game. Looking forward to it. I had this shit marked on my calendar for a long time. And then after this will just be kind of I don't want to say the dog days of summer because I think that happens after baseball when we have truly nothing to talk about and we're talking about like the golf NIT and tennis and some other things. But this would be a big time for football. It would be a time for everybody to just kind of a little reunion out there, and we get to see what's up.
Hopefully during the summer we're doing these podcasts from tubes.
From tubes? Oh, Riverside. That's fire. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I could definitely feel like my camera would overheat.
Texas
Debating on whether or not to get a new
and
camera.
Content King, Andrew Zimmel. Putting a new label on there.
What the hell am I?
Content King. You're the sidekick. You're the producer.
I'm the sidekick?
Producer Jake.
Dang. No.
You make me look like a Wojak in every thumbnail, so I'm excited to see what this one looks
like. You didn't like last week's flexing on everybody? I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I had a lot of people commenting and talking to me being like, why does Jacob make you look like a meme every single thumbnail?
I said, whatever gets your mic is front and center in your face.
Whatever gets people clicks. That's what I said. Whatever gets people clicks.
So show some cleavage, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Show some ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the spring game. Again, if you want to be on the next mailbag, drop a comment down below. If you're watching this on Spotify, you can do that same shit too. YouTube, same deal. Follow us at Squarin Pod on YouTube. We only need 10 more followers to break 100. Spotify, I think we need the same amount to break 100 also for subscribers. So we're trying to boost our numbers up before next football season. Hey, what's up?
You know what we should do? Should get with that and be like every subscriber or every NIL sponsor who gives money also gets to subscribe to Squaring Around for free.
Yeah, that should be included in the tier list.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
A free subscription to Squaring Around.
An official Maroon and Golden NIL collective. What are we? Partner?
Yeah. Get the you know how like they have like the sticker for grade A beef? You need to get a sticker for like Maroon and Golden NIL. Squaring Around Pod.
It would be fun to do like if we had they have 2 athletes currently, Ben Bell and who else?
Tori Spears.
Oh, Tori, you're right. I don't know why I blanked on that right now. But they have 2 athletes. We are the TV radio guys. We can talk forever. If we wanted to just host a forum of the both of them, hey, I'm just saying. Could be fun.
I would love
events
that.
coming down the line, maybe.
I would love that. I think that Maroon and Gold, I don't want to speak for Big Thadd, would probably like that. I think Josh would be okay with that. I think the players would be okay with that. You know who wouldn't be okay with that?
Texas. The athletics department.
They would not like, imagine.
I think they would be somewhat okay with it, so long as it fits into whatever NIL agreement that they have, right? Because the agreement is that they have to do certain things at certain times, to continuously get paid. And then we're already known and respected media members at Texas State. So they're not like handing over their athletes to the wolves, so to speak, It's more like hyenas.
More like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
More like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah, maybe.
No, I would love to make that happen. I don't know if it will.
Yeah. Well, hey, either way, we're gonna do a collab with them at some point. So that was just me spitballing in the ether. My bad, everybody. But yeah,
start the Jeff Trailers rooting. Start tweeting at Jeff Trailer leaving. Start the rumor. Get the rumor mill going.
Jeff Trailer leaving? ? Use the hashtag. Yeah. Hashtag Squaring Around. Cuatro Corners Cartel.
Yes. Start get that trending. Jeff Trailer leaving? ?
Leaving?
Yeah. Thanks for squaring, everybody.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.